Recently, I made over this adorable little sewing cabinet with chalk paint and a transfer. I shared it here on a live, and I even shared the final results in a community post. Well, about a week later, I came back to finish buffing the wax that I had applied over top of this, and you're never going to believe what happened. A terrible goof, and I wanted to share it with you so that you don't make the same mistake. So when I went to buff the wax, like you normally do when you're waxing anything, some of the transfer came off. I'm not kidding. Some of the transfer started to come off. I had a panic attack and thought, what in the world? I have a solution to fix it. Let me show you up close, and I want to make sure that you know how to fix it. But first of all, I want you to know how to prevent this from happening so that you don't make the same goof that I did. Like I said, I wanted to share this mishap with you. I don't want you to ever think that I don't make mishaps. I always have mishaps, and then I have to figure out how to fix them. So that's what we're doing here. I wanted to share with you that if it does happen to you, how to fix it, but more importantly, I want to share with you how to prevent it from happening. So if you use transfers, make sure that you seal it with a clear coat if you want to use wax. Now, if you don't want to use wax, don't worry about it. Just seal it with a clear coat like usual. But if you want to use a white wax over top, like I did for this to soften the edges, you first of all have to seal it with a clear coat to seal in all of that transfer. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get this fixed, okay? Here's this adorable sewing cabinet. Now, I'm not going to go into the detail of how I painted it and how I applied the transfer. I will link the video for that down in the description, so be sure to check that. But look here what happened. You can really see up close how some of the transfer came off when I buffed it. Here's the transfer that I used. It's Dewy Morning Transfer by Bells and Whistles from Dixie Belle. It's not the transfer's fault. It is operator error. I made a huge error. Before sealing that transfer, I waxed it. This is a great wax to use, but on a transfer, you first of all have to seal it with a clear coat. And that's what I forgot to do. That's what I lacked doing. I did not seal it first. If I had sealed it first, then I could have applied this white wax that I have over top to kind of soften the edges like I wanted to. So to fix it, I'm going to take several colors of Dixie Belle that I have on hand and that are close to the colors that I have here. I'm going to use a small artist brush, and I'm going to fill it in like I did here. You can see this flower. I've started to fill this in. Here you can see a little bit of a mishap, but I'm going to fix that. And I'm just going to fill it in the very best that I can. Then I'm going to paint the clear coat over top of this sewing cabinet and seal it so that that transfer does not go anywhere. I'm finding is that it's best to do this in layers. So you can see I added a little bit of the paint, I watered it down, and I started to create some little layers, especially in the areas where it was heavily scraped off. I can't believe I did this. Anyway, I'm going to show you up close what it looks like after the first layer. I hope you could see the steps that I was doing. I was using several of the colors that I have in the red and that gray because those were the main colors that I had my mishap. I'm going to show you a little bit more of that here in just a second. But I also introduced a lighter color to kind of tone down. Then I had a glass of water. I had my small artist brush here off to the side. And then I just had a little mixing plate. You can see that I had just the pure red. I mixed the red and the gray together and got this richer, warmer color to fill in the gaps here. And then I also mixed the white, or the light color, it's called drop cloth, with that gray called gravel road to get a gray hue that I could fix this petal right in here. So it's not looking too bad. I'm going to let it dry. I'm still going to do the leaves here. I haven't done those yet. I'm going to let it dry completely and possibly add another layer. And then when it is completely dry, I'm going to seal this with a clear coat. All right, I've got the first coat of clear on it. I'm going to let it dry. I probably will put a second coat on it just to be sure. Now listen, this is not a perfect solution, but it is a solution that saved that transfer so I didn't have to ditch it and start all over again. It was relatively easy and I felt kind of artsy doing it, to be perfectly honest. You're just painting in the lines. That's it. Let me show you a close-up of the finished look here at the end. But in the meantime, I'm just going to say that I hope that this video was helpful for you if you ever run into a problem with a transfer coming off because you waxed it and you weren't supposed to wax it like I did. Goodness. Anyway, I hope that you found this helpful, and we'll see you next time.